Handle Your Business with Bobby Dino. I am in the Seduction Lounge right now. We've got the fire going. We got drinks. I mean, I could see how someone with a lesser fortitude could lose their will and be incapacitated just enough. Now, thank you for joining. We are with Jon Fitch. Now, this is an exciting moment for me because when I came home and I was doing my own jiu-jitsu, I was very much following the UFC. I was like I was a classic example of one of those guys that like, I watched the UFC and now I'm doing the jiu-jitsu and now, you know, I mean, I was that dude. But, you know, I was into it. I actually developed long-term friendship from it. But I remember watching you fight.
Yeah.
Like, I remember Rory. I remember GSP. Like, I mean, those are like some of the toughest people on earth, man. So, you know, on film, nothing but respect from me to you. I mean, that's any man that's willing to put himself in 100%. You talk about skin in the game. That's literal skin in the game. Okay.
Brain cells.
Yeah, against another man, and it's their two wills meeting, and I mean, that's, people don't understand how heavy that is.
Yeah, I mean, for some of us, I think it's just what we were born to do, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm trying to transition into, you know, a life outside of the cage,
Right.
and I have a harder time doing that stuff than going in and training 3 times a day and then going into a cage and fighting someone.
Yeah.
It's like, that's where my mindset mentality is. That's the easy route.
Right.
Like fighting just being the cage is the easy route.
Right.
Like showing up to a job every day, that's difficult.
Right.
I'm trying to do the entrepreneurial thing, so I don't have to report to anybody. But that's 24/7. You don't ever stop.
Oh yeah, you got to put in work constantly.
Yep.
Constantly. Yeah, that's seeing that you're getting into this entrepreneurial thing, and you're kind of making your own way. We were talking about thinking outside of the box, right? And maybe before I get too far into this, only because for those that for some reason may not know, who's Jon Fitch?
I'm an old man. Young ones don't pay me much mind. No, I have a long time MMA fighter. I've been fighting 17 years and counting. If I get this next fight I want with Lima, current Bellator champ, it would put me into the 17 and a half year realm, depending on where that time frame goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I fought GSP back in 2008, UFC. I was released by the UFC because I was an issue. I was just trouble for them to work with. I didn't like being exploited.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I went to World Series of Fighting. I won a world title for them. They turned into the PFL. Then I got picked up by Bellator, and my last fight was last April against Rory McDonald. He was the current champ at the time. He recently lost to Douglas Lima. I'm hoping to get a fight with Lima because I drew with Rory.
Yeah.
And I'd rather fight for the belt than a rematch.
Right. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah. And it makes the rematch better because if I beat Lima and I have the belt, then he could fight me for the belt back.
Yeah.
And then if he beats me, then that sets up the trilogy of him and Lima, and it's a great story. Come on, Scott Coker, make it happen.
Yeah, it sounds intriguing to me. You know, that's something that
so
I
it's an
tune
angle
into.
to look at. But so I've been fighting a long time, and then I'm kind of getting into this space a little bit. I have sons. I don't like the decline of Western civilization, as it seems like.
Yeah.
Fun is fun, but it seems like things are going downhill fast.
Yeah, it's a lot different. I actually thought Jon was younger than me. I'm 42. It turns out he's 41. So we're right about the same age. So when we're thinking of things, we're thinking of very similar situation time frames. You know what I'm saying? Like childhood, stuff like that. And it's
what families look like, what income looks like, what race relations look like.
Right.
Everything back in the 90s seemed like it seems like we were going down from where we were.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very different. It's very different. It's not the same. One of the reasons why it was so easy for me to leave Orange County was it wasn't the same place where I grew up, and like the same kind of ideas and things happening, and like homelessness started going in there to where there was never any of that, like people sleeping in parks and stuff, and just it was different, you know. But you thinking back from when you, let's say, before you got professional in this, and you were thinking in your mind, like, I'm going to be a fighter because I'm good at it, right? Where were you at in that point in time? Like where were you? Who were you then?
Well, I was, I spent my whole childhood and most of high school thinking I was going to be a pro football player.
Yeah.
I was going to be a professional athlete. That's just what it was. That's what I liked. That's what I wanted to do. I wrestled as long as I played football, but wrestling was like something to keep me in shape in the off season. It wasn't until my senior year that I started realizing, well, I'm a little too slow and not quite big enough to like play the positions I would need to play. So when it came time to go to college, it was either I could walk onto a football team, a big football team, and maybe play kickoff team my senior year.
Yeah.
Or I could walk on to the same college and win a national title in wrestling. So I was like, man, that sounds, being a champ is much more seductive than being an also-ran.
Yeah.
Even though it's cool, like it's nothing to take away from anybody who went that path and got their Letterman's jacket and all that. That's cool, you worked hard, but I wanted bigger. So I went to wrestling, and I realized pretty quick that I really didn't know how to wrestle. Right? I mostly was strong and could outwork my opponents in high school.
Okay.
And that's what I did. I just, it was Iowa style kind of back then. It just made them tired. And I had to refocus myself midway through college and devote more time to getting better at wrestling.
Yeah.
Last 2 years turned out pretty good, but then I felt shorted because I was just getting good at wrestling, and now I'm done competing. Like, I didn't want to stop competing. I wasn't done. So luckily I had an assistant coach named Tom Erickson who had fought in Pride, and he set a fight up for me. And I ended up going down that road to kind of see what it was like. I didn't have any student loans after school because I had earned scholarships and I had a little money saved. And I was like, let's just do it. I got a little time. Let's see what it's like. And eventually moved out to California and really got started devoting myself to martial arts and just being better.
When you made the decision, when you were at the point to where you were like, hey, you know what, I'm going to be a fighter. How sure of your mission or a mission accomplishment were you? Like when you went in, were you just like, I'm going to do this and beat everyone, or was there the point where it's like, oh man, this is going to be tough? What was your mindset kind of like when you were doing that?
So I had a little bit of a shift. So the first year, I was still I was in graduate school. I won a scholarship at Purdue, and I paid for a year of grad school. So I took the minimum amount of credits because I didn't really want to do it. But I was stalling because I didn't want to teach either because I got my teaching license and graduated.
Good for you.
Well, I learned through my student teaching. Like in the first week, I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But they wait until the last semester for you to do it.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I'm 5 years deep in this, and now I'm going to be like, no. So I would have had to just finish with graduating and start something else.
Right.
So I was like, I'm going to take this time and figure myself out, and let's see what this fighting thing's all about. Because Tom would tell stories. He would have Mark Coleman and Gary Goodrich would come to train with him.
Okay.
Mark Coleman was the first heavyweight champ ever for the UFC back in the day when they could headbutt. Oh wow. So he would take guys down. He's an Ohio State wrestler. Take guys down and headbutt them.
Oh my God.
And he's just a bad dude. And he would tell these stories about strippers and hookers and the cash and Yakuza bosses and Gary and them. They all had these stories, and I was like, this sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to go see what this is like. Because yeah, it was just that idea of, fighting and traveling. And then when I started doing it, I wasn't that good because I was just half-assing it, right?
Okay.
I lost my first fight. Like I showed up with no corner. I didn't have a cup. I had to borrow one.
Oh,
I
wow,
didn't wear a cup in a fight,
Yeah.
right? I didn't have anywhere to wrap my hands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I didn't know what I was doing. Like, nobody did that.
Right.
So I was just playing with it at first. And then it wasn't until towards the end of that grad school that I was like, you know what, I need to immerse myself in this. I need to 100% do it. I'm half-assing it. There's no training. There's nothing around. There's no jiu-jitsu clubs. There wasn't a boxing gym in the city. Like there was nothing. So like, if I wanted to do it, I had to move. I had to go somewhere. So I found my way to San Jose, and that's when I made that move. That's when I committed myself fully to just putting 100% of everything into training and that immersion. Part of me having to leave it was I was stuck in the cycles of going out and drinking on the weekends.
Yeah.
People wanting to smoke weed and like
Right.
do this, and it's hard to break free from that cycle.
Right.
It's just all there is to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like all your friends, they don't mean anything bad by it. They want to hang out,
Right.
But
Right.
like you just get dragged into this, and I knew, I was like, man, I need to immerse myself in fighting and training, and I need to get away from this.
Right.
Not
Pay attention, man, because this is some fire. This is some shit dropping right now, because you all have heard me say that, like, you got to be 100% committed, 100% in. And when you talk about what this man has done, or you don't even need to talk about it, you can look him up and just read his accomplishments. That's how he's able to do those accomplishments, is because he wasn't half-assing his shit. He stopped playing, and he started handling his business, like just got busy, like he's going after it. That's big, because I'll tell you right now, from my own experience, you won't get shit if you're playing half-ass.
Yep. You got a whole asset.
You got a whole asset. That's right. You got to be fully committed, whatever it is. You got to be fully committed. No, I'm glad that you laid that out like that, man. Because when I like even think about, like, I'm now that we're sitting across from each other, and I'm trying to think about stuff that I've seen you in, or and I'm remembering things, and I'm like, man, you've fought and made this career, and it's quite accomplished.
There wasn't even anything to base where I was going off of. It was
Right.
just like, I want to do this fight thing. Let's see where it goes. I got to 100% do it.
Right.
And maybe because there was no The Ultimate Fighter. There was no
Right.
fighting on TV. You couldn't catch no radio.
Yeah. I remember.
Pay-per-views, and there were 6 of them a year, or you had to go and fight in Japan, and
Yeah.
people would watch you on the internet.
Right.
So like there wasn't a big place to go to, or there wasn't a path carved.
Okay.
So like we were like a lot of guys that I was training with at those times were cutting paths and figuring out how to make this a thing.
Yeah. Wow, man. So you were around during the birth stage. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you were there.
The toddler stage, I guess.
Yeah, almost like the Wild West stage.
Royce Gracie winning the first Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
Or the Ultimate UFC one, the first tournament they had. That was like the baby coming out. It was
Right.
like, holy shit, we didn't know we were putting it.
Yeah.
But then like,
Yeah.
then they had the rough stage where they got taken off of TV, and that's kind of a hostile takeover, I think. Then the Fertittas bought the UFC around 2000, and that's when it started to pick up a little bit, because they got regulated.
Right.
So when they got regulated by the state commissions, it was easier to have those shows. But like
Yeah.
we were not sure where we were going or what was going to happen. We just knew that we loved this fighting thing. I wanted to get as good as I could at it.
Yeah. When you, and I'm not going to ask something that's going to get you in trouble or anything like that, but so I'll just ask it in a very neutral fashion. So now that you've been with these different fight promotions, do you have an opinion of the UFC that you can, like I mean, where do you stand with that, and then also with your current promotion, like how do you feel, like Where are you at with that?
I'm with Bellator now. I like how they're doing things. I like Scott Coker. He does a good job. But the UFC does have a monopoly on the market. And anytime there's a monopoly on the market, all the actors within that market have to take on the same business practices as the monopoly. Otherwise, they get wiped out. Or they have to be dirtier. I have to operate on a dirtier level than the monopoly is running at.
Right.
So, can't blame a lot of the other promotions for locking up long-term contracts and not making it easy for the fighters to have free agency.
Right.
Because the top dog does it. And
right.
If they don't do it, they're going to lose out.
Right. Like you have to stay competitive.
Yeah.
Like that's.
So we just have to change the structure of how the sport is done, because what the UFC does is they operate. They tell everybody it's a sport, but the way they run it is pro wrestling.
Okay.
They control the title. They control the ranks. Boxing, the promoter doesn't control the title. It's a sanctioned body that owns the title.
Oh, okay.
So it's a third party. So
right. So it's already kind of biased right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's conflict of interest.
Right. Exactly.
If the promoter is going to make a bunch of money off of this guy, why would they give the money? Why would they let the guy who should be fighting for the title fight for the title? Like, we make more money with this guy. We make more money with Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan wasn't a good wrestler, but
Right. Gotcha. Okay. And it makes sense too.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it's real world, people. That's it is how it is.
Like unless there's a rule that says they can't do it, it's just not.
Right.
Well, I mean, there are rules. That's why we have a class action lawsuit going on.
Yeah.
It's an antitrust lawsuit, and
don't say too much, because I swear.
Yeah.
I swear.
They're technically breaking some laws.
I don't want you to come on here and get yourself.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get in trouble. But we believe that they're breaking laws. Antitrust laws, which is monopoly,
right,
and Monsanto stuff, and then we've been going 5 years with that lawsuit, so it's still processing. We should get class certification here in the next year.
Oh wow, okay, that'll be cool. I mean, and Godspeed. I have my own experience with legal stuff, and I know that it can be soul sucking. I mean, not only just the criminal stuff. I'm talking about. I used to, when I was in there, people needed writs done or something like that, I'd help them. Because there's dudes that legit don't know how to really write.
Yeah.
Or read.
Right, yeah.
Like, I was, until I went to the pen, like, that tripped me out because I thought that just everybody did.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. That was one of the things we had to do for my teaching license, or my teaching credits or whatever. I had to volunteer at a reading center.
Oh, wow.
So there was, 45-year-old guys and a 20-year-old kid, and I'm like, oh wow, this guy doesn't know the alphabet.
Right. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I had people, because I was writing then, and people knew it, and I had people approach me and ask me for help with this or that, and I'd be like, okay, well, you got to put your name here and your name there, and they'd be like, okay, can you write it for me? My name is, and it's like, oh shit, yeah, they didn't have the skill, and you know what? It's not on the state to raise your kids. You got to raise your kids, and if your kid can't read, I taught my daughter how to read. I homeschool her.
You read every night.
Yeah, right. So it's on you to be a parent, and I think that if you depend on the state too much, or are trained or propagandized into depending on the state too much, the parenting goes away, and now you have a society that's not even the same it was 20 years ago.
That, and I mean, why wouldn't you want your knowledge passed to your child?
Yeah.
Why would you depend on some other outside body to teach your kid about life? Shouldn't you be teaching them about your experiences and things you have and I don't know, maybe it's my narcissism. I want my kids to know the things that I know, that I want them to, have the skills.
No, that's cool, man. That's you being a good dad. That's what that is. Yeah.
I don't know. I supplied my DNA for you. Go over there, and those people will raise you.
Yeah.
That I have a major disconnect with that. I don't understand. Unless you are in a financial position where you absolutely have to, work and put your kid in daycare, I don't get it.
Yeah. No, it's nobody's gonna look out after your kid like you do. No one. You know, and that's ultimately what it comes down to. You know, I mean, that's your progeny. You know, you want to pass something on. You know. So you're talking about getting into entrepreneurial stuff now. If you can, what is it that, like, how are you coming in, or what is the product that you have to offer?
Well,
or
one
products?
one of my finished products is my Fitch Smash fighting system.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to take the martial arts and stuff that I was learning and put it into a congruent system that's easy to learn.
Yeah.
That is not just geared for MMA, but also for combatives and self-defense.
Right.
A lot of situational awareness and things where you're up on your feet and you're able to access weapon systems, whether they're your hands or elbows or an actual gun. Like, you need to be up on your feet. So I have my Fitch Smash system. I've been working on that, and I've been doing seminars and private lessons and group lessons, and I have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Jon Fitch.
Okay. I'll make sure we'll get everything and
that has
handle it.
a lot of videos I put up, and then I'm working on. I want to put together like a masculinity type program.
Yeah.
For guys, especially in the Bay Area.
Yeah, especially in the Bay Area.
A lot of girls that I've been on dates with have all brought up that this is necessary. But like, there's a lot of guys who either had really, not very masculine fathers, or no father at all, and they just don't know what it means to be a man at all. And the only idea they have of a man is what women have told them a man's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Which is the absolute the worst place to get that information. So, I want to put something together where I can help guys kind of master their masculinity.
We'll talk, because that can totally be, that could be something that can be done.
That's something I'm developing that, but I'm taking anybody out.
Yeah.
I'll take I do like Skype calls and stuff with people already.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure not only to have the information, but if you want to get at people, we'll get at people behind that. Because if you're, I understand the value. I bet you that Mike's gonna pick that up. I understand the value of having to learn a system that quickly puts you in a safer place.
Yep.
Now, most of you out there have never been the victim of a crime, although you probably know someone that has, or God forbid you were yourself, okay? But stuff happens to people, and there's bad people out there that will do bad, violent things quickly. Like, it's not like they're going to ask for your permission before they assault you, okay? So the learning,
your pronoun.
yeah, exactly, right? So learning something from someone as experienced as this man, I mean, like with the accolades, that's like if he were in a court of law, he would be a professional, like, so many different ways, dude. Like, they would be like, yes, he's a pro in the whatever to speak, because just of what you've done, bro. You've accomplished so much. So yeah, it's important to be able to defend yourself quickly, and if need be, attack very quickly too. Just like they're not going to ask for your permission to assault you, if you know they're going to assault you, you don't need to ask for their permission before you assault them. It may be something like that too. So I mean, I'm interested.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
they're inside your personal
right.
space. Like,
yeah, I wrote about that in the code. I called it the hula hoop.
Yep.
I'm gonna get. I have a copy of the code. It's like 100.
They don't get inside of that. The second they're inside of that, it's a fight.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No.
Any
time I've ever seen two people that are face to face yelling at each other, it should never ever get to that point.
Ever.
If he's going to cross the line,
yep.
like the second he gets close to it, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna happen. Like, he's got to know through your physical body and language that if he crosses the line, it's on.
I call it the hula hoop, but yes, like that. Yes.
Otherwise, there's somebody drawing in your face. No.
Hell yeah. No, you're exactly right. I'm so glad you're saying.
Cross that line.
Hearing this from someone like you, like that's good. You guys should pay attention.
You don't know what that person's intending to do. Are they
Right.
going to headbutt you? Are they going to stab you?
Right. Right. And another thing too, and I know this from the riots. This man's a pro fighter. He's got a gas tank to where he could run circles around me like for days. I'd probably fall out. I mean, he's trained. That's his gig, right? I know the value of like actual time spent in an altercation, because if it goes on longer, you will start losing your breath, your ability, if you're not trained for it, if you don't have like the stamina for it. Like fighting somebody for 2 minutes straight, that'll like usually wind out the average. Like the average person, I don't even think can do it.
Yeah. Like, how many people do you know can just run for 2 minutes as fast as you can?
Right. Right.
And stop and be okay.
Yeah. So you got to think that there are people with the ability to do this that the average person just doesn't realize what can be done to them. And so if Jon's got a system to where it's fast, it's effective, I mean, it's...
The idea is take you from zero to fight ready.
Right.
Faster than any other system can.
I'll tell you from my own prison experience, that's exactly how you have to be. Like, I mean, you can't... You got to be ready to go. And I think the problem is because most people have never really experienced... Like, even men, we were talking earlier, like the little boy bodies. Remember? It's like people, they're not even really worried about even working out anymore or getting big. And when someone that knows just a little bit more, or has, let's say, some thug that has experience fucking mugging people or doing something like that, right? They're confident through their experience, and they come up on you and just boo-bop you or whatever, they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And unless you know and are able to be aware and have the experience, right, they're gonna get their win. And that's just what the truth is.
Lift weights.
Yeah.
Master violence.
No, but I like the zero to fight ready. I can appreciate that, because that's like exactly how you have to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I have three parts to my system. The first one I call AMOS. It's achieving and maintaining operational status.
Okay.
It's basically get up, stay up.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to be on the ground in an altercation, especially on the street. I even say in MMA, you don't really want to be on the ground with your back.
It's better to be on your feet, I think.
It's better to be on your feet or on top.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean,
because if you're on the bottom, you could be under your leg or somebody.
Yeah.
That's not where you want to be.
Yeah. So you have a system that essentially shows people what?
How to stay in the fight.
Okay.
The whole time.
Okay.
Right? You don't want to put yourself in a spot where you can't defend yourself or you can't be offensive.
Yeah. And so, are you showing people, like, is it something to where, like, they can see, like, first of all, you work with people directly if they want to, right? So, like, if somebody wanted to, they could book some time with you or something like that. Okay, cool. But with the classes that you have or you do, is it just showing someone how to quickly either assault or defend or run, or how does it work?
No, I'll build a basic framework of movement that'll keep you in the fight. I'll break things down into simple situations that happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in a fight when you're on the ground. If you learn these basic mechanics, and always apply certain principles, you're always going to be able to find your way out.
Right.
It's not. You're not going to have to be like, okay, what was the technique I learned from here?
Yeah.
It should all flow, and I teach it in a way where you drill it in a thread-like manner, so everything becomes reactionary. You program the machine, and the machine reacts.
Okay. Well, that's cool. That's so. You've got that. Is there anything else that you're doing besides that?
I've been doing a lot of podcasts.
Oh, cool. You do have the channel.
One.
Yeah.
Official Jon Fitch, and then I'm up on Podbean, and I think I'll be on iTunes soon.
Okay.
I have to get my whatever approval.
We'll make sure that I will take all this down and I will include it all. It'll be there.
And then
So.
I have my book, Failing Upward, Death by Ego. It's the first, and it's supposed to be a series, although I'm a little behind. And
yeah, but you have one.
2 out.
You have one book out already. Now, what's that book about?
So I've kept a journal for a long time.
Okay.
At least I haven't the last couple of years because I've been doing so much stuff on camera that I forget to write stuff down because I'm already talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But my journal time also got overtaken by kids' story time.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
That's time well spent. Yeah.
But I had like 17 years of journal stuff written down. So I was like, man, I started going through it to kind of compile things for stories to do like a memoir or something.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, man, like the content in the journals themselves was too good to not just share.
Right.
That there's a level of like obsessiveness, like little crazy.
Yeah.
With how much I was working out, how the pressure I was putting on myself. I was like, other people might want me to see this.
Yeah.
Because if I would have known that somebody else was saying these things when I was that age,
right?
Because I look back on it now and I'm like, oh, some of the stuff is like really cringe.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh yeah,
you're
a 24-year-old kid who doesn't know shit about the world.
Yeah. You're like you looking back through that lens, but from having the writing and then being I've experienced similar to where I've looked back and gone, oh my god,
what was I doing? And then so I started sharing it, and I wrote, I write over the top with the explanations or like my thoughts of it, reflections on what I think of the stuff now.
Yeah.
And then I shared, it was a little bit of college, but it was like a lot of my first year pretty much in San Jose.
Okay.
And the American Boxing Academy. And it's just fun to share. Firstly, I kind of did it for the fight fans because I thought they would kind of like to see like where the sport came from.
Yeah.
Because it was the Wild West back then. There weren't contracts.
Right.
Shows got canceled. There wasn't insurance on. You didn't see your opponent until you got into the cage. Sometimes.
Oh, what?
It was just a name like.
Oh wow.
You couldn't find any video or anything on them.
Yeah.
You didn't know who these guys were.
Yeah.
Like I went down into Mexico. I didn't know who my opponent was.
Oh man.
I fought an Iman tournament. I didn't know who any of my opponents were going to be.
Oh wow.
Going to the tournament. Heard of most of the guys, and then I had one promotion that we didn't get paid. It was just typical stuff.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So they share those things, but then also with like the red pill lens that I've had, relationships and stuff. There's a lot of stuff in there that's like super cringe.
Yeah, and that's. But you know what, man? Check it out. All that's happened is you've grown more as a man because you've decided that now, that especially your children probably played a big part in the decision, but you knew what you had to do to take care of business.
Yep.
You committed to it, and that's just it's you. When you look back and you see the problems that you thought you had versus like what real life's about, you're like, oh man, you were just a young kid that didn't know shit.
It's like 26, worried about, I'm not married, I don't have kids, like,
Yeah.
I don't own a house yet.
Yeah.
Like, just absurd things that are laughable.
Right. Yeah. But that's cool that you're willing to share that because I'm sure that writing some of that was probably therapeutic for you.
It really was, yeah. Especially because I started going through the divorce process. So, I think I was kind of looking for answers there too. And a little bit of inspiration because, fighting and all the other stuff going on, was kind of, this training was a downer.
Right.
So getting back into my roots of like why I started and my attitude and like, the things I was putting in my journals, I was like, oh shit, man, I started getting fired up again.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that led to, I had, kind of great performances against Paul Daly, my first fight with the Bellator, and then, with Rory, I did outstanding. I think that kind of led,
Yeah.
that energy kind of led into it. Made it fun again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I mean, that's when you're enjoying it.
Yeah, when you're enjoying it.
Yeah, it's a lot
training's kinda
better.
cool and like.
We were talking about
Yeah.
the legal stuff earlier. I remember, because I mean, obviously I'm a writer. I like to write, you know, and it's I get satisfaction and therapy from it as well. But when I would have to do legal paperwork, that is like the most soul-sucking kind of
Yeah.
writing. Like it makes you hate writing. Like it makes you hate like that you
Yeah.
even know the shit because there's so much of it and you got to do this and that and cross check. So like, I understand being able to just do what you like. You know, being able to do what you love. So with this entrepreneurial lean that you have, where do you see yourself going with it from here? Like, is there anything future-wise that's coming up, or is there anything?
I think I'm just starting to find which paths are going to pay out,
Right.
kind of, and
Right.
you know, I've developed things along the way the last couple of years,
Yeah.
and then I'm kind of just like getting started, like
Yeah,
going
gotcha.
with those things. I think
Right.
because I was kind of like I had a bunch of lines in the water trying to figure out where I needed to go or what I needed to do or what path to take. So things are kind of getting focused and getting.
I think a wise thing that you're doing, and it's something that I always tell people, is it's not necessarily what you love, it's what you're good at. Now, if what you love and what you're good at are the same thing, that's fucking awesome. Then you're living your best life, okay? But the guy that digs ditches for a living, he doesn't love digging ditches. You know, he just happens to own the equipment and he's good at it or whatever, you know. So the fact that you're able to put together this course, if you will, I mean, man, that's something he's good at. And like not good like the way that I might be good like top fucking 1% of the goddamn world good. Like, so that's different level shit. And if you're able to get into something like that, oh my goodness, yeah, that's that. I just see. I mean, I don't see how people could not be interested.
Part of it was, you know, I started crunching numbers for a business plan for a gym, and just the expense of things here in California, the number of students you have to have,
Yeah.
and I felt like it was like limiting. Took a lot of time and didn't pay that well. So I wanted to attack the internet more because I could reach more people. I could have more students. You know, I've got an infinite number of students on the internet.
Right.
You know, here in one location, I have 200, 250.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, I thought I could get to more people, and then I get to travel.
Right.
I get stuck in one location at the gym every day.
Right.
I could go and spend a month in Poland teaching.
Yeah.
Like, that's a possibility. I can do that with this type of business plan.
Well, I mean, just with the different men's conventions or seminars that are out there, if your services were available, or were like you were someone that was available to speak or available to do a little workshop or something, I don't see how someone wouldn't want someone like you there. I mean, like, it doesn't get any more pro than that. Like, you have a pro, and like a seasoned pro. I mean, bro, we're in our 40s. You know what I mean? Like, we've been through some shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's different when you're a kid.
I've been coaching since I was like 13 too. Because
Yeah.
junior high wrestling, you coach the younger kids.
Yeah. So I mean, I can only see great things happening for you, man.
Yeah,
Like,
so I'm excited about getting going, and you know, I spent the last couple months getting my website more changed around. And,
Oh, cool.
You know, it was a little bit outdated, and getting more focused on certain paths of promotion
Right.
and marketing. Yeah.
As far as, because I'm sure that there's going to be fight fans of yours that have never even heard my name, but because you're linked to this, they're going to fight tune in. If you're just tuning in, I'm Bobby Dino, and I'm here with Jon Fitch. So, as far as your fight career goes, what do you see happening in your future, and like how far or how long do you want to take it?
Well, I'm waiting to hopefully hear news that I'll get to fight Michael Slima for the Bellator Welterweight Championship. But honestly, if I don't get the title shot, like I'm not really interested in fighting anymore.
Yeah.
The amount of effort and work they have to put into it to what you get paid, it just kind of doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
You know, plus we get paid show win money. So you get paid one. Yeah, I'm gonna get paid 63 and 63 right now.
Okay.
Right. So I've been doing it 17 years.
Yeah.
So if I show, I get 63,000. If I win, I get another 63,000.
Gotcha.
Right. That's not great.
Yeah.
20%. That's management and gym fees right there.
Right.
Then I have 33% taxes.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's going to cost 5 to 10 just to train and fight.
Right. So now you're not. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
if I'm only fighting once a year,
yeah,
is it worth it? Like,
Right.
to get punched in the face, the time away from my kids,
right,
the time that I'm with them and I'm irritable.
yeah,
For a belt, yeah, it's worth it because the belt is leverage to make more money off of. Right?
yeah. And then plus you especially, I mean, it's just what you do. You get to a point to where you're purposely putting your body through so much damage, you know, even in training. It's not like you're not getting hurt or getting a workout in training, like you're going through it then too. So is there a point for you to where it's just like, or has the point come already to where it's just like, yeah, man, I just want to start kicking back. Like this is, I want to start respecting this machine that I have to live in.
I still, I still lift weights a lot.
Good.
And I like jujitsu. I like getting in there, battling, getting after it. But yeah, I mean, unless I'm getting paid good, I don't know if I need to get hit anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, yeah.
I don't know if I need to go in there and spar with a 22-year-old who wants to do 15 rounds.
Yeah. Right, and wants to make a name for himself or something. Right.
Well, I mean, we got a good bunch of guys that, chill pretty good. But, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Just if it was making $250 a fight, then I'd probably have a whole lot of different attitudes.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, for sure.
You know?
Make it worth it.
Yeah, especially after, 17, or if I had just gotten started or whatever, maybe.
Right.
But, I've been doing 17 years, and that's all I'm earning now.
Yeah.
It's,
get paid for what you're worth, you know?
well,
Straight
I mean,
up.
part of it is there's the monopoly that UFC has chokes the industry a little bit.
Right.
They've stolen the meritocracy away from the sport because you can't climb the ladder. There's no ladder to climb.
Right.
They just pick who they want. We'll give you the ranking. We'll give you the ranking. You get
Right.
the title shot. We'll make up a belt for you guys.
Oh, fuck.
They just did that for Masvidal and Diaz. These guys, they're like 500 in their last set of fights. They're not top 20.
Yeah.
Then they throw them in there. We'll make a title up for you guys.
Oh, my God.
So it's like it's pro wrestling. It's 100% pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Without the predetermined outcomes.
Oh, wow.
But that chokes the whole industry out, and you can't win yourself into a championship.
Right.
Like Andy Ruiz just knocked out Anthony Joshua in boxing.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He earned the place because he won fights.
Right.
Right. He was champion, whatever. When the other guy failed his drug test, he was the next guy in line. Merit.
Right.
Because of merit, he got to fight the champ, and he knocks him out.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's getting paid a shitload of money, and he's got a rematch. He's got fucking Snickers sponsorship. Like,
Yeah.
And it's just, but yeah, it's just
and
because
that,
boxing actually has boxing actually has
Right.
structure and rules. It's not allowed to run like pro wrestling.
and that's just something like to me that makes common sense, but I mean, it's tripped me out since I even started paying attention to the sport, is that like the physicality that you're putting in to this sport, right? Like it's, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from
You've
boxing
never been
because
elbowed in the face.
yeah,
You've never been elbowed in the face. Like, it's just a different kind of feeling.
Yeah,
dude. It is. It's like, boom.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like, I've been kicked in the side and had ribs broken, and like, broken ribs hurt. Like, when they're broken back here, like, you can't breathe right. You can't. I mean, just and I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, just the damage, that you've had to go through.
I had a spot where a long time ago. It's in my book actually.
Oh, okay.
I separated a rib or whatever.
Right.
So like for like 2 weeks I couldn't cough or like shit.
That's what I'm talking about.
Shit.
I had that too.
I had to go and sit on the toilet and wait until it just came out because I couldn't clench to push.
Oh my god.
It was awful. I'd been there for 45 minutes, legs falling asleep.
Yeah.
I was like, I know I gotta go. Can't push.
I remember sleeping on the rack.
The worst.
I remember sleeping on the rack, and like they're spring. These ones were spring where I was at underneath, and like I couldn't move because the springs gave, and like it hurt so bad. So like I had to sleep like this, dude, and I couldn't breathe too hard, or like you said, cough or whatever. But I didn't have to do 2 weeks. I was good after about 3 days, like 3-4 days. It started because I was just pushing. I couldn't. You can't afford to just be in there in that place, just laying prone. Like you still gotta get up.
Yeah.
So. But I can only.
You can't just stay. I'm just gonna stay here, guys, today.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, just leave me alone, please.
It's gonna hurt.
Just respect my privacy.
Point of privilege. Point of privilege. Yes, my rib kind of bothered me.
Yeah. Oh no, man. No, it was different animal. But the fact that like you just said, like if you haven't like had it happen or had to be like real physical with people. Most of you, or I strike that, all of you that have never been in a fight, like it's not what you're expecting, or it's not what it's not what you think it is. No, it's not. It's like, have you ever been hit in the head with a pool cue? Like you ever had somebody smack you upside? Just think about that for a second. Ow, right? It's not something that you think is like some movie or something. That shit hurts, and you can't just let it take you out because then you're gonna get real hurt.
Yeah.
So
you gotta realize that it hurt and be like, oh shit.
Right.
You gotta make sure that doesn't happen again,
right.
or it's gonna hurt worse.
or I might die.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
I luckily only had to worry about losing a fight and half my paycheck.
Yeah,
but I had to worry about losing my life.
Well, right, but still, even then though, I mean, there's always you're in there with someone that's trained,
trying to put the lights out.
Yeah, and not only that, but like just specific, like I'm taking Jon out. You know what I mean? And they're just like they're ready.
The only purpose.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. That's a crazy intent. I mean, yeah, mine was for my life, but I was against people that were far less educated in the art of fighting than anything you went through.
Capable.
I mean, these people
lower rates of competency.
Right. I mean, I could imagine that some of these dudes that had come in were never in a real fight either, just by the way they acted. So just going through that and thinking about what you've done, I not only think that you've got a lot to offer, and I mean anyone that would want to hear from you, but you've got an experience that when someone like you is talking and telling you about how they went through what they did, and this is where I was at, and this is where my mind was at, and that's something worth paying attention to, because I mean, you put your whole self in it, man. Like that's intense, That's that like it doesn't get any more just.
I didn't even know what it was getting into.
Right.
I just knew that this is awesome. This is making me and pushing me to be better. I think that was a big draw with it too, because I was just spinning my wheels in when I was going through grad school.
Right.
And like I knew, I was like, man, if I just go and go get a job, and move back home, to my hometown, and get a job there, I was like, I'm not going to do anything different than what I'm doing here.
Right.
Like the 2 credits, the classes that I had at school at those times, and the rest of whatever, I was like, it was basically, I'd be teaching the classes, and then I'd have
What is that a bird or something? Or is that someone laughing? I don't know what that was. It's all right.
Well, yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was strange. So I'm just no, that's cool, man. Oh, there you go. No, that's somebody laughing.
Yeah, I realized that I was going to be doing the same thing. You know, teaching, coaching, whatever, but like I'd still be going out and getting drunk every weekend, probably.
Right.
And I was just like, man, like, is this really what I'm going to do for the next 40, 50 years?
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't have any student loans, so then I decided just to go for it.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I'm going to make sure that all the information is available, you know, and I'll Tiger, my guy, and by the way, I will always shout this kid out. He's the one that does my editing and has done other work with me as well. Tiger Productions, he can throw his own little thing in there. If you need any type of video or photography or anything like that, he's only 20 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's worked with Cernovich, he's worked with Cortez, he's worked with, yeah, I mean, like he's on top of it, man.
But yeah, I want to put together my Fitch National video course.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Tiger, look. You see how much you see how
network works, guys. Networking is important.
You just
Build
saw
a strong network.
You just saw it in real time. That's it. And Tiger, see how I look out for you, kid? I told you. Anyways.
Put in hard work and then reach out.
Yeah.
To other people putting in hard work.
Yeah. So I'll make sure that all of Jon's info is in there for what he currently offers in coaching, for what like how they can get a hold of you for that, and whatever course material.
Pretty much everything. JonFitch.net.
JonFitch.net. Okay. There you go. That makes it easy.
One-stop shop.
Yeah.
You put a lot of work into the website to make it easy. Yeah.
Okay.
Easy to access what you need to know. It's still not done. I think there's still some tweaks.
There are always
tweaks.
Always are. Yeah.
Can always be better. You can always be better.
Yeah. Hey, and listen to the man. The man knows what he's talking about. He just told you what he went through, where he was at, and how he got through it. So if he could do it, and he's telling you, that means you can do it too, right? You can always be better, man. Hey, Jon, thanks for.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for talking with it.
Fireside chats.
This is way awesome. I'm totally happy with this. So thank you for tuning in, and remember to stay safe out there.